Kyle Pratt is an aviation engineer based in Berlin, Germany. Her husband, David Pratt, has just died from falling off the roof of their apartment building, and Kyle is convinced it wasn't a case of murder. Kyle prepares to fly to New York to bury David and stay with her parents, a night before the flight. While tucking her daughter, Julia, in bed, she notices two men watching her from an opposite apartment. Kyle and her daughter are the first passengers on the aircraft that will take them to New York, a brand new Elgin 474 that she helped build. As the airplane prepares to take off, Julia looks out of the window. Kyle tells her to nap for a while, that by the time she wakes up, she will be in New York. Julia draws a heart shape on the window before drifting to sleep. Kyle falls asleep as well. She wakes up after about 3 hours and does not find Julia beside her. She thinks Julia has just gone off by herself, as she is prone to wander on her own. She walks the aisle of the aircraft and searches the restrooms but doesn't find Julia. Gene Carson is an air marshal on the aircraft. He sees the disturbed look on Kyle's face and asks her what the problem is. Kyle tells him she is looking for her daughter and asks if he saw her by any chance. Carson says he has not seen her. She asks everyone around if they have seen her daughter. No one has seen her. Kyle keeps searching. She asks the flight attendants. None of them has seen Julia. Kyle goes to the lower decker of the aircraft and still does not find Julia. Stephanie, one of the flight attendants, makes an announcement to all the passengers that a 6-year-old child is missing. After efforts to find Julia proved abortive, Kyle sees Stephanie making a call. She is eager to know what the call is about. Stephanie tells Kyle after the call that the plane does not have any record of Julia being on board and that Julia was never checked into the plane. Kyle explains that she came on board with Julia, that they were the first to board, but Stephanie tells her she checked the plane's manifest and did not see Julia's name on it, as a proof that the information from the flight attendant was wrong. Kyle makes to produce Julia's flight ticket from the bag she kept in the overhead locker, but discovers that the bag was missing. Sensing there is a foul play, she demands to see the captain. The flight attendants hesitate. Kyle rushes to the captain's door with the flight attendants on her heels and locks frantically on the door. Gene Carson, the air marshal, comes to take Kyle away from the captain's door forcefully and calls out the captain, Captain Marcus Rich. The captain of the plane is forced to conduct a search throughout the aircraft while Kyle is monitored by Carson. After the search, Julia is still not found. Kyle is not satisfied with the search. She insists the luggage space of the aircraft be searched, but the captain would hear nothing of such, as he says it is dangerous. He confesses that Kyle's request to look for a child who has no record of being on the flight is weird. He commits Kyle into the care of Carson as Stephanie calls on him to deliver to him an important information. As Kyle walks back to her seat, guided by Carson, she sees a passenger who she believes she has seen before. She charges towards him, screaming she has seen him before and demanding for her daughter from him. The man denies ever seeing her. Kyle insists she saw him the night before, staring into her apartment with another man. The man denies all her allegations as he produced a record of his itinerary for the previous day. The captain calls Kyle and tells her they got information from the hospital where David died. Also, Julia died with David as he took her with him to the roof and fell with her, and that she had died of internal injuries. Kyle is confused. She remembers her daughter being unwilling to make the trip. She also remembers her getting lost in the airport and remembers that David died alone. She was beginning to believe she was going crazy. Carson leads her to her seat where a psychologist speaks to her. As she communicates with the psychologist, she looks towards the window and sees the almost faded love shape her daughter had drawn there earlier in the flight. She excuses herself to use the restroom, where she climbs into the overhead crawl space and manipulates the plane's electronics. In the midst of the panic and confusion her action creates, she quickly rides a dumbwaiter to the lower deck of the plane where the luggages are kept. She searches for Julia. On getting to David's casket, she unlocks it with a code, expecting to see Julia, but instead sees only David's body. Carson finds her there and handcuffs her, preventing her from closing the casket. Carson tells her the flight would be having an emergency stopover at Goose Bay Airport in Newfoundland and Labrador, where she'd be arrested. He settles her down once again as Kyle begs him to help her search the plane's hold. Carson asks Stephanie to sit with her while he sees the captain. He instead revisits the luggage space secretly and removes 2 explosives and a detonator hidden in David's casket. He then goes to the captain to tell him that Kyle has asked for a ransom of $50 million and she plans to hijack the plane. He urges Captain Rich not to talk to Kyle about it, but to transfer the money immediately so Kyle would not carry out her threat of bombing the plane. Stephanie meets Carson. She's scared that Kyle knows she is part of the plan. Carson calms her down and tells her Julia and Kyle would be dead as soon as the plane lands and the passengers alight. The captain makes the transfer to the account number C. Arson provides. Upon landing in Labrador, FBI agents surround the airplane. Every passenger starts to alight from the plane. Kyle confronts Captain Rich about her yet missing daughter. Rich replies that the ransom has been paid. Kyle is confused. She later discovers that Carson has been the game player all along. Kyle realizes if she calls the awareness of the captain to the truth she now knows, no one would believe her and she would simply end up complicating the already complex matter. So she plays along and assumes the role of a hijacker and commands Carson to remain on board, while everyone could leave the plane. As soon as everyone leave, Kyle strikes Carson with a fire extinguisher. He sprawls on the floor and loses consciousness. Kyle searches his pocket and sees a handcuff. She handcuffs him to a rail and searches another pocket. She finds a detonator and takes it. She asks where Julia is as Carson regains consciousness. Kyle sees Stephanie approach from inside the airplane and asks her the same question. Carson fully regains consciousness and shoots at Kyle as she runs into the aircraft. Stephanie shows up and helps Carson free himself. Carson pursues Kyle, who runs into the cockpit and locks herself there with a distracting ruse. Kyle gets Carson searching for her in a totally wrong direction, making her able to escape. She sees Stephanie and hit her on the face as she moves away from the airliner. Kyle finds Julia lying unconscious in the avionics part of the aircraft. She also notices explosives attached to the wall close to where Julia lay. She carries Julia and seeks a place to hide. Carson discovers she has seen Julia. He believes he could shoot her with his gun now since he knows where she is, so he tells her he murdered David, her husband, so he could smuggle explosives inside his casket. His plan was to hijack the plane for a ransom of $50 million and rope Kyle since she knows so much about the aircraft since she was part of those who built it. He then plans to finally kill Julia and Kyle with the explosives. Kyle hides Julia and herself in the non-combustible hold of the aircraft as Carson shoots at her. She then detonates the bomb, killing Carson in the process. The captain and all crew members of the plane see the landing gear of the aircraft exploding. Captain Rich confirms that Kyle has bombed the plane as she said. Kyle carries Julia and steps out of the aircraft unscathed, to the surprise of the crew and the FBI as they realize she had been telling the truth all along. The next day, Captain Rich apologizes to Kyle as the FBI leads Stephanie away, and one of the FBI agents informs Kyle that the manager of the mortuary where David was kept has been arrested. As Kyle carries Julia to a waiting van, the passenger she had accused on the flight helps her with the luggage. As she gets onto the van, Julia wakes up.